So, good afternoon. My name is Maria Abaysan Tano. I'm here today to do the final oral examination. So, first question. Discuss the four general classes of fire causes. The four general classes of fire are natural fire, accidental fire, unknown fire, and natural fire. Natural fire. Natural fire caused naturally without human intervention or aid such as lightning, spontaneous ignition, mechanical malfunction of equipment. Naturally occurring wildfires are most frequently caused by lightning. There are volcanic meteor, and coal seams fire depending on the circumstance. Human-caused wildfires. Human-caused wildfires can be accidental, intentional, or arson, or from a negligent natural fire. In this ecosystem usually occur every 5 to 25 years. This fire tends to be low-intensity ground fires that remove woody shrubs and favor grasses, creating open, park-like ponderosa stands. The life history of ponderosa pine is well adapted to high-frequency and low-intensity fires. So, number two general classes of fire is accidental fire. Accidental fire. Fire caused where human action is involved directly or indirectly. Accidental fire are those in which and proven does not involve any deliberate human act to ignite or spread the fire. While in most instances this classification is clear, some deliberately set fires can be accidental. For example, an engineer lighting off a boiler is purposely lighting a fire. Accidental fires can be considered both accidental and negligent, depending on whether a fire is caused by negligent human intervention or by accidental occurrence without human involvement. Deliberate fire occurs when someone intentionally starts the fire. However, not all deliberate fires are necessarily considered to be arson. If someone were to set fire to garden's debris while it is deliberate, it may not constitute arson. Next is arson. Fire caused as a result of the well-found and criminal action of some person. Arson is the crime of maliciously, voluntarily, and willfully setting fire to the buildings, or other property of another person, or of burning one's own property for an improper purpose, such as to collect insurance. Arson is defined by the willful and malicious setting fire to or causing to be burned, or aiding, counseling, or procuring the burning of a dwelling house or building adjoining or adjacent to a dwelling house, or a building by the burning thereof a dwelling house is burnt, whether such dwelling house or other building is the property of himself or another, and whether the same is occupied or unoccupied. The next is unknown fire. Unknown fires which are not classified as to cause. A fire may be classified as to unknown if fire investigators were unable to determine a cause or if the fire's origin is destroyed. Next question is, what is arson fire? Arson, by definition, is the willful or malicious setting fire to or causing to be burnt, or aiding, counseling, or procuring the burning of a dwelling house or building adjoining or adjacent to a dwelling house or building by the burning whereof a dwelling house is burned. So, whether such dwelling house or other building is a property of himself or another, and whether the same is occupied or unoccupied. Arson investigations are conducted to determine the cause of a fire and ensure the responsible party is held accountable. Arson investigators are usually retired firefighters or trained professionals with in-depth knowledge about types of fuel, how each fuel ignites and accelerates, in the impact each fuel has on the development of a fire. The next question is, why should fire be investigated? The role of fire investigation is to identify the event that brought together the combustile, the oxidizer, and the source of ignition that started the fire. Causes of fire can be natural, accidental, deliberate, or undetermined. Natural causes of fire include all the actions of nature that can cause a fire, such as lightning from the sky or lava from a volcano. Accidental fires includes both fires that are caused by negligent human intervention or by accidental occurrence without the necessary presence of human being. Deliberate fires are caused by the intentional intervention of human being. So, what are the contents of the fire report? Fire report. Fire reports of all fires, regardless of sizes, should be completed. This report should be initiated and completed without delay. The contents of the fire report may contain the following information. The first one is time incident, location of incident, size and nature of fire, fire involvement, fire department plant response, injuries and fatalities, time fire extinguished, most probable cost, and the last one is follow-up and corrective action required. So when do you consider that a fire is arson? It can be defined as the deliberate malicious burning of property having three main elements. First, there has been burning of property. Second, the burning is incendiary in origin. And finally, the burning was started with the intent of destroying the property. Fire investigators will examine the physical indicators, their findings. The evidence will be analyzed with a fine-tooth comb to help determine if the cause of the fire was accidental or intentional. Hints of deliberate arson could include specific born patterns, accelerants, and vandalized items. So why is fire extinguisher necessary in building establishment? A fire extinguisher is a mechanical device, usually made of metal, containing chemicals, fluids, or gases for stopping fires. The means for application of its contents for purposes of putting out fire, particularly small fire before it progresses, and it is capable of being readily moved from place to place. It is a portable device used to put out fires of limited size. Fire extinguisher plays a vital role in any fire protection plan if in any in any environment. They are the first aid of response of fire and it can help prevent catastrophic damage to property, even loss of fire. So the next one is discuss the classes of fire extinguisher. There are 5 classes of fire extinguisher, which are Class A, Class B, Class C, Class D, and Class K. First one is Class A. Material involving vegetable fibers, wood, paper, straw, grain, and grass, combustible materials such as coal and coke. Nearly all trash fires are considered as Class A. Number 2. Class B. Materials including petroleum products such as gasoline, fuel oils, lubricating oils, and greases. Animal fats such as butter, lard, and tallow. Vegetable extracts such as alcohol, linseed oil, and turpentine. Vegetable compounds such as shortening and oleomargarines, natural gases, and compressed gases such as butane, propane, hydrogen, and acetylene. Class C. This type of fire involves electrical motors, electrical appliances, and apparatus. Actually, this Class C fire is composed usually of Class A and Class B materials for a combination of both. Use of water is usually dangerous because of risk and electrical shock. 4. Class D. These are materials involving combustible metals, alloys, or metal compounds either in a solid, semi-solid, or liquid state. They may further reduce in shaving, grindings, granules, or dust. Some liquid metals are kept in a liquid state under pressure. Usually, these liquid materials are extremely dangerous. Some of more unusual metals are sodium, magnesium, titanium, sodium, potassium, and uranium, as well as pyrophoric organometallic gradients such as alkalithium, grignards, and dithyl zinc. These type of materials burn at high temperatures and will environment with water, air, and other chemicals. 5, which is the last one, classes of fire extinguisher is Class K. These are materials involved in the kitchen fires. This classification was added to the NFPA Portable Extinguisher Standard in 1998. So the next one is, what are the different parts of fire extinguisher? The different parts of fire extinguishers are the following: shell, discharge valve, hose, pickup tube, nozzle, pressure gauge, and CO2 cartridge. Number 4. Distinguished service test from hydrostatic test. Service test of an extinguisher is an operational test of an extinguisher to see to it that is operating properly. This test is normally conducted at least once a year during the scheduled maintenance cycle, while a hydrostatic test is an internal pressure check of an extinguisher cylinder of shell to detect possible failure under pressure. Normally, during the testing, the cylinder or shell filled with water hydro. The test should be conducted immediately upon discovery of any indication of mechanical injury or corrosion those extinguishers which exert internal pressure. The test indicates whether the extinguishers which are capable of withstanding as designated pressure. So the last one is discuss types of ventilation. There are 3 kinds of ventilation. 3 types of ventilation. The first one is vertical ventilation. Next one is horizontal ventilation or cross ventilation, and the last one is mechanical or forced ventilation. So, first ventilation is vertical. The method to establish vertical ventilation must be worked from the top and down. Heated gases and smoke rise to the highest point, and if confined, will tend to mushroom or to rise to the highest point of the building, exerting their heating effect on everything they touch. Next is cross or horizontal ventilation. If the smoke and gases have not reached the higher levels, cross ventilation can clear the building one floor at a time. Windows are the easiest and generally most available for the common types of buildings, but the indiscriminate opening of windows and doors can defeat the purpose of ventilation. The third one is mechanical or forced ventilation. A process or method of ventilation whereby a device such as smoke ejector are utilized to remove faster excessive heat and dense smoke in a combining building. So that's all. Thank you.